And for more on this, we are being joined by Professor James A. Russell, Associate Professor in the Department of National Security Affairs at Naval Postgraduate School. He's joining us live from Montreal. Professor James, thank you for joining us on the broadcast.
Thank you.
We're anticipating a full-blown Israeli offensive. We are seeing a worsening situation on ground in Rafah with thousands of Palestinians there being asked to evacuate. How do you see the situation panning on the ground right now?
Well, the situation on the ground right now, I think, as you have explained clearly to your viewers, is that we can expect the body count to steadily go up. There are going to be innocent civilians caught in the crossfire, as has been the case since this war started several months ago. The offensive in Rafah places Israel on a collision course with its principal benefactor, the United States. They have finally pushed the Biden administration, I think, to a point of sort of no return. The Biden administration has now requested that they not undertake the offensive. President Biden has said, we're going to hold up deliveries of your bombs, and Israel is proceeding. So this is going to force some kind of crisis in the American-U.S., the U.S.-Israeli relationship, and a lot more innocent civilians are going to be killed.
Professor, as you rightly pointed out, we are seeing an overwhelming support for Palestine cause in the United Nations. Yeah. You know, what's at stake for Israel here as it goes ahead with its offensive in Rafah? Hamas has just said one hostage has died as protests intensify in Israel as well.
Well, I think we have to kind of take a step back and ask ourselves, what are the objectives that the sides are pursuing in the war? And these objectives are irreconcilable, which is to say that on Hamas's case, so Hamas launched the war, I think, to gain global political attention to the plight of the Palestinians. And they have done this, but it has been at a terrible cost. The physical infrastructure throughout Gaza has been destroyed. Over 100,000 Palestinians are either killed or wounded. So they've paid an enormous cost for this. In Israel's case, it seeks to eliminate any political opposition that faces in the Palestinian community. And it seeks to eliminate that opposition, and so it can be free to colonize Gaza and continue its overall policy of coercive colonization, both on the West Bank and Gaza. So from the point of view of Israel, its costs, right, are, it seems to me, the American relationship and certainly its relationship to the international community. The international community is overwhelmingly aligned against Israel, and now they have forced the most pro-Israel president, right, in recent memory into a corner. He has repeatedly warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to restrain Israeli military operations, and also has been the case over these last several months. Netanyahu has refused any of these entreaties, and now, of course, we are at this point in the U.S.-Israeli relationship where Israel is going to press ahead with the offensive in Rafah, despite U.S. requests specifically not to do this. And we are at this crisis point in the U.S.-Israeli relationship, and we're also at a crisis point, I might add, for those hundreds of thousands of Palestinian refugees who are stuck in Rafah and have been told to evacuate to some new refugee camp. So it's a terrible, absolutely terrible situation. Yeah.
Professor James, thank you for joining us on the broadcast to give us your insight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.